Hello, welcome to Salt and Light Canning. I'm Jessica. This is my kitchen. Today we are canning some bone-in chicken. I like having cooked, seasoned meat on my shelf. It makes weeknight dinners very, very easy. Also, I like knowing that I can preserve meat without my freezer. In case anything ever happened, I know that I'd be able to preserve the meat that I have in my freezer. So, I practice, I learn skills. So today we're going to can some seasoned bone-in meat. So I'm gonna mix up my seasoning blend. I'm doing a ranch seasoned chicken today, and this ranch dressing seasoning that I have does not have any kind of buttermilk or dairy in it. So we're going to use that. I'm going to add some onion powder, garlic powder, some parsley. We'll just do the rest. And some sweet paprika. We'll just do it. That was a lot. Oh well, that's okay. And some salt. This is just kosher salt. I put it in a container, but this is just kosher salt. Kosher salt, canning salt, or you can use sea salt. We'll go with about that much. Maybe 1 more spoon of the ranch seasoning. Have a lot of chicken. I'm doing about 40 pounds today. Normally you can fit about 2 pounds of meat per quart jar, and this is the only time I use quart jars for meat is when I'm doing bone-in meat. So normally you can fit about 2 pounds per quart jar. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I have 20 pounds of meat right here, and then the rest is sitting in the plastic in the sink, and I'll get that in the bowl as soon as I empty some out. But let's get this mixed up. Now, you do not have to season your meat when you're canning it. You can just can meat. You don't have to add anything to it. I just like it for convenience to be able to have seasoned meat on the shelf ready to go. It makes a very easy weeknight meal. I can just take a jar or two of the meat off the shelf, heat that up, heat up a vegetable, maybe make some potatoes or some rice, and then we have dinner on the table in about 15 minutes or less. So, makes my life easy. You know, busy moms, gotta make your life easy. And for about an hour hands-on time canning in the kitchen on a weekend, I can have meals on the shelf for the year. So, anyways, this really good and mixed up. I think that's about right. Now I'm going to put the meat in the jars first, and then I will add liquid and clean the rims and put the lids on. So I just process it that way. You can do it how you do it. Whatever works best for you. This is what works best for me. So first we're going to take our chicken. This is all chicken thighs. They're bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, and I washed them. And then I just kind of season each one just a little bit. And then I'll fold it up and put it in the jar. And I'm going to tell you right now, anytime you're doing seasoned meat, it is messy and you're really going to have to clean your jars. That's all right. We'll just fit as many in these jars as we can. So if it's just me and my husband, I'll just do 1 jar for a meal. If it's me and my husband and my daughter, Might do 2, and then we'll have leftovers. Just depends on how much you guys eat. And it is a little bit different with the bones. What you can fit in a jar is different. But it's delicious. And I don't think I can fit this one in here. So we're gonna just let that jar be just like that. It's delicious, and I just love having quick, easy meals on my shelf. So anyways, I'm gonna get this chicken all in the jar. I'll be back when I'm doing something else. When you're doing bone-in chicken, it's like putting together a puzzle. You have to see where the pieces can fit. All right, I have my seasoned chicken in jars. From 40 pounds, I got 23 jars here. So that's approximately 23 meals for my family. Now, if you've been on my channel, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I do not like to just can chicken or can any kind of meat without adding broth. So I'm going to add some chicken broth. I have just some chicken broth that I made. Go back and watch that video. Okay, here's some chicken broth that I made. I'm just putting it here in this pot so that I can scoop it out into the jars. I'm not going to heat it up. It's just making my life easier for me to get it in the jars and hopefully less messy. So now I'm going to add some broth to my jars. I just think it cans better that way. There is this whole disagreement or debate in the canning community about whether or not you should add liquid to your jars. I add liquid to my jars. If you don't add liquid to your jars, that's fine. You don't have to. The chicken does make its own broth. Just for me, I like the broth and the liquid to be covering my chicken, so I add some broth. However, if you didn't have anything, and you didn't have water, and you just didn't have anything, you can your chicken just like this, and it is perfectly fine. It's just personal preference for me. I know it is not listed as the way to do it in the National Center for Home Food Preservation, but I have always canned meat with broth or some kind of liquid, and it always turns out wonderful, and it always turns out delicious, and it lasts just fine on my shelf. So please do what you feel that you should do. Debubbling tool here. Get the broth down around the chicken. Top it off. Now, like I said, seasoned meat is a big mess. So I have some white vinegar here and a paper towel. And I'm going to be sure to clean the rim of my jar really, really, really well to ensure a good seal. There we go. I'm going to take my lid and a ring, put it on to finger tight. There we go. Bone in, skin on, chicken in a jar, ready to go for a dinner. So I'm going to finish putting the lids on all of these jars. I'll be back when I'm putting them in the can. I have both my 16-quart Presto pressure canner and my 23-quart Presto pressure canner. I love them both. Absolutely love them. Check out my link below is my Amazon storefront. If you're gonna buy a canner, I highly recommend the Presto pressure canner. When I'm doing quarts, because I can't double stack quarts anyways, I love my 16-quart pressure canner. Absolutely love it. Anyways, because my meat and my broth was all cold, the water in my canners is cold, my canners are cold, everything is the same temperature. And that's what you want to do when you're canning anything. If you're starting with cold product, then you want cold water in your canner. If you're starting with hot product, then you want hot water in your canner. Just make sure that you're matching the temperature of your product. So I'm going to get this turned on. We're going to let these come up to temperature. So what we want is we want them to vent, and that means a steady stream of steam right out this vent right here for 10 minutes. And after the 10 minutes, I will put the weight on and we'll bring it up to 15 pounds of pressure. That's from my altitude. You're going to have to check your altitude for what's appropriate for you. And we're going to let them process at 15 pounds of pressure for 75 minutes. And I know you just made a funny face because meat in quarts normally goes 90 minutes. But bone-in meat, bone-in chicken, is processed for 75 minutes. And check the link below for the National Center for Home Food Preservation, because that's what they say too. So we'll be back when these are all done and I'm taking them out of the canner. Well, my timer went off and I let everything come off of pressure, and now we're going to take them out. Everything is bubbling and going crazy in the jars. No matter what you do, I don't think meat looks pretty in the jar. I just don't. But it tastes good. So these are going to sit right here on my counter and relax and seal and have a good night. And tomorrow I'll get everybody all cleaned up and put in the pantry. And then they'll be ready for whenever I need them. Let me know what things you're canning. What are you putting up in your pantry? Love to hear. Give me any recipes that you have. I'm sure I would love to try them. But anyway, be so blessed. Know that you're loved and be a blessing to someone else. We'll see you in the next video.